You are now behind enemy lines, and I am in better company than normal, folks. Hey there, how you doing? Gene Berardelli without Ross Galloway this week. He is off on some personal or professional business. I don't know anymore. I can't keep track of him. They got to put a bell around his neck or something. But I have the pleasure of announcing that we have an upgrade on the show. We have Tracey Alvino from Voices for Seniors with us tonight. Tracey, thank you so much for joining me and adding a much needed feminine presence on the show.
Well, I'm very happy to be your estrogen tonight, Gene. But what is a woman anyway, right?
I know, I mean, I could say adult human female, but then I'd definitely be accused of being further right than normally. So whatever. But yeah, listen, it's great to have you on. I am, first of all, how's everything with you? And we always check in on family because we're both Italian from New York, and this is what we do. How's everything with you?
Oh, you know what? That's a loaded question. Everybody that knows me personally knows my mother has been recovering from surgery, but it looks like she's through the worst, and she will be making a full recovery. Thank goodness. But yeah, it's been a little harrowing. I mean, I may have bags under my eyes from the lack of sleep, but they are Chanel, so I assure you they are designer.
Yes, I don't see the bags at all, so don't you worry about that. One of our regulars in the chat, the Coffee Grinder, says that with Ross gone, the estrogen level has actually dropped.
That's amazing.
Well, there you go. There you go. Someone just texted me and said, "Hey, when did Ross get boobs?" But anyway, listen, your presence has been noticed. Let's just say that, and we have I'm hoping it's going to be a fun show to do. We're going to go around the horn with the latest political news and opinions on various off-year races. And then I think it's safe to say we're going to be talking about a break in the ranks incoming as far as the shutdown news going on. And some animation from Senator Buffoon that I didn't think he had in him. But before we get to all that, I do want to make sure that everyone is aware that our shop is open. We're featuring some pretty apt shirts right now at shop.buffoonertheweek.com. I just want to pull up what I think is my favorite shirt right now. It's got to get to the icon and everything. I made a special shirt just for, basically for you, Tracey. Let me put this on the screen here. It's relatively new. We've mentioned it before. It is our Cuomo for Jail shirt.
I love it.
Basically took his logo. Here it is up on the screen now. Basically took his logo and telling everybody what we really want him to run for, and that is to get into prison because, frankly, the man isn't qualified to be dog catcher, in my opinion. But there it is. It's available in various different sizes. Check it out at shop.buffoonertheweek.com. The way you can access it during the show, guys and gals and everybody in between, see that little QR code in the upper left-hand corner of the screen? You can scan that, find the link to our shop, and then find the shirt right there. Shop.buffoonertheweek.com. And that's enough of the grift for now. There'll be more grifting later. Everyone's saying hi in the chat. Yes, I made that for you guys, for Voice for Seniors. And because I don't know if it's by proxy, but I feel like I now have a vendetta with Andrew Cuomo. And from having spoken to you and people from Voice for Seniors and having written stories about your activities and just going through the litany of bullshit that Cuomo has perpetrated, it's like we don't even get to policy points when it comes to Cuomo. We have enough about him and his character to totally disqualify him for running for office.
Yeah, 100%, Gene. And you've been Voices for Seniors, one of our biggest supporters. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. We can't even articulate into words what that means, especially now when we're dealing with this very contentious New York City mayoral race. Listen, you hit the nail on the head with Cuomo. And this is what I've noticed for the last few months is that he doesn't have any policy points. I mean, he got caught trying to write policy with AI, right? ChatGPT. And he can't run on his record because his record is so abysmal And myself, I was personally affected by it because I am the director of Voices for Seniors, and we're a group of thousands of grieving families in New York that lost our loved ones in nursing homes and rehabilitations due to the Cuomo's COVID mandates. So he can't run on policy. He can't run on his record. So the only thing he's running on is Curtis Sliwa is the spoiler. I mean, in what universe does the Republican, the rightful major party candidate, have to leave the race to appease a Democrat, a failed, disgraced governor that left with his tail in between his legs in 2021, left the state in just a horrible state in the state? And what universe does a Republican have to step aside for a Democrat that couldn't even win his own primary?
Right. And it's also first of all, it's a Democrat that was up by 40 points at one point, ended up losing by 12. So we're talking about what is that, 52-point swing, which is unheard of in today's politics. But I think what people are forgetting in their panic to try to stop Zohran Mamdani is the choice that Cuomo is presenting is either the slow lane to socialism or the fast lane to socialism, is what he's really saying. There is no reason for a Curtis Sliwa voter, a Republican in the People's Republic of New York, which, by the way, is not really much of a Republican nationally when you think about it. They're pretty much centrist. I wouldn't call them conservative. But to expect an accommodation when you're a third-party candidate and a loser at that who's lost already in this election cycle, to then say, oh, I'll get it right this time, I'll beat him this time. It's just ludicrous to me to even think that a major party candidate who has responsibilities down ballot, by the way.
Exactly right.
All the other people who are trying to run on those coattails, such as they are in the People's Republic of New York City, to then say, oh, screw your party, screw those people, screw your supporters, screw your donors, and just drop out and try to help me win. I don't see the logic there at all. It's a world gone absolutely mad in the People's Republic of New York.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Andrew Cuomo and his ilk are responsible for the Mamdanis of the world. Like, you can't say that New York is a sanctuary state and welcome all these people in here and keep voting for this ideology that promotes socialism, and then turn around and say, well, now we need the Republican to bow out to save us from what we voted for and what we've promulgated in office. Like, it's absolutely ludicrous. Like, no, it's not up to us. And listen, I have a bone to pick with the New York GOP. As you know, I am inside a dutiful conservative Republican. And I left the party this year because of what was going on in the New York City mayoral race and what I perceived as the New York GOP, just and the GOP conservative influencers, all these people, these supposed Republican news commentators turning their backs on Curtis in favor of the guy that got us here to begin with. Cuomo's responsible for all the problems that we have in our state right now. So, I mean, for them now to turn around and say, please save us from what we created, I'm almost inclined to say, let it burn. I mean, I actually feel like the only way that we're going to get a Republican governor in this state, and I do believe that Elise Stefanik is capable of beating Kathy Hochul, is allowing Mamdani to win at this point if Sliwa can't pull it out. Now, if Cuomo wasn't in the race as this third part on this obscure line, by the way, he's like on the second line on the ballot. You can't even find him. I mean, if it wasn't for him, maybe Curtis would have had a shot. I mean, Cuomo's a spoiler. So I think that if we get Elise Stefanik in there, she can at the very least keep Mamdani in line, or she can remove him because that would be her power as governor.
Or limit the powers of the mayor of the city of New York, which is something that we saw Kathy Hochul do with Eric Adams early in the year before the election cycle really started kicking off. But we can talk about Andrew Cuomo till the cows come home. I've been talking about him for years now, how he's an accused sexual predator, how his COVID policies are responsible for over 15,000 unnecessary deaths of seniors that you know all too well. But also policy-wise, you mentioned he is Dr. Frankenstein, and Mondani is Frankenstein's monster coming to kill him, right? That's figuratively, right. In my imagination, that's what it is. YouTube, don't fuck with me. Just don't do it. But here's a prime example of what you're talking about here. This is Andrew Cuomo back in, I believe this was 2021 or 2020, talking about cashless bail.
For white, that's whether you're rich or poor. We're going to end the cash bail system once and for all. We're going to do it in New York, and we're going to do it this year. We have to have more alternatives to incarceration, strict timelines on court dates, and we have to eliminate the racial bias that is pervasive in our criminal justice system. As governor of the state of New York, I can't tell you how proud I am to have closed more prisons than any governor in the history of the state, and I'm not done yet.
And that's what he's proud of. He's proud of cashless bail, which led to increase in shoplifting that we saw over the years, increase in crime in the city that he now wants to run. And he's proud to have closed prisons, which of course has led to overcrowding in prisons upstate. We saw, and we covered on this channel stories about prison guards having to cover 30-hour shifts at a time. This is the man that all of these fair weather, two-faced mutts in New York think is the savior of New York City. It's absolutely ludicrous.
You can't fix what you broke. I feel like he is perpetrating the biggest gaslighting experiment known to man. And it's what's really getting me is I expect nothing less from Cuomo, because he would sell his own daughter for a vote. Like I'm convinced this man is just, he's a narcissist hell-bent on power. He's psychopathic. And I'm not qualified to diagnose, but I am qualified to diagnose because of what he's done to my life personally and how he's killed my father and tried to cover it up and profited off a blood money book of lies. But, he's tried to cover it up and profited. I just feel so gaslit, and the so-called paid off Republican influencers that are out there are letting him gaslight us. Like they're helping him to gaslight us. We lived under absolute hell under Governor Cuomo. Now, usually you don't, Gene, correct me if I'm wrong, but you usually don't go from governor of a state down to the mayor of a city in the state. He's using New York City as a springboard back into power. He's got his eyes on the governorship. He's got his eyes on the presidency. He's using us, and the so-called conservatives out there are helping him to do this. Stop gaslighting us. And can I just say, if he, God forbid, wins, and I got to hear that voice for the next few years, I'm going to take chopsticks and like scratch my eardrums out. I can't with him. Ugh.
I wouldn't go to those extremes, but I totally get it. But you know what? This is something that we called back in, I think it was late 2023, when it may have been late 2024. I don't know. I think it was before that, though. When Andrew Cuomo went on to Anthony Scaramucci's radio show and called you and people that support you and people that you represent and advocate for vile. Mm-hmm. Vile for saying that his COVID policies resulted in needless and unnecessary death.
Yep.
And even now, he is unrepentant, because we were talking yesterday about a text message that was put out, and I'm going to try to get this onto the screen in a few minutes.
Okay.
I didn't do enough show prep for this, but there are actually text messages going out with a screen capture of someone who, like you, lost a parent to Cuomo's irresponsible COVID policies, saying that I know Cuomo is an unaliver. I can't use the words because of YouTube and whatever. Mm-hmm. But I would still have to vote for him. And they're touting this as saying, see, look, even they are voting for me. I was aghast when I saw that. And while you're talking about the reaction to it, I'm going to see if I can find the screenshot and put it up on the screen here. Go ahead.
Here's the thing about X is like you can hide behind a fake name and you can hide behind a fake picture. So I don't even know if this story is real. I do know the account on X that put out Cuomo is horrific and he killed my husband, but I'm going to vote for him. I don't even know if that's a real person or a real circumstance. So I can't, confirm the validity of that. I could tell you, you could put a gun in my head and you could threaten to unalive me. And I still would not be able to vote for that man after what he's done to my father and over 15,000 senior citizens. And I try to put myself out of it and say, what if this didn't happen to me? What if my family didn't go through hell? What if I haven't been this accidental activist for the last 5 years? Could I ever vote for him? And the answer is still no. And I try to objectively look at it because of what he's done to the state. A lot of people don't remember, you go back a few years, he pardoned 30,000 child predators so that they could vote. Now, these 30,000 child predators, Gene, where do you vote? Where do typically people go vote? They go vote in schools.
In schools.
Exactly. So now you're allowing these child predators to go into schools and vote, and you pardon them for their vote. I mean, he is a disgusting, dirty, corrupt. He is corrupt as the day is long, and he's irredeemable. I mean, back in the beginning, people have said to me, and they give me a lot of hypotheticals, and they'll say, if Cuomo had apologized in the beginning, would things have been different? And for me, absolutely not. For some of the other families, maybe it would have been a little different. For me, it definitely wouldn't have made a difference because it was such a gross incompetence to put COVID in nursing homes when you had to ship and auxiliary hospitals all over the place that didn't see any patients. So, I mean, getting back to that fundraising tweet, that fundraising text message that Cuomo's team put out using this tweet of a woman who claims she's a grieving widow that's voting for Cuomo. I can't confirm that that's real. And I can't in any way, shape, or form imagine being so deluded that I would vote for that man. And I know, listen, I'm not a Mamdani fan. Before anybody accuses me of that, I am not. I do not want Mamdani to win. I want Curtis Lewa to win because you got a devil. You got another devil, and you got a guardian angel who has common sense policies. Now, the problem, again, to me, goes back to he didn't get any support from the New York GOP. And the New York GOP, maybe they could have found a more electable candidate, but they didn't. They just give up our 29 electoral votes all the time, and our money that we use here goes to prop up the national GOP that goes to other races. And there it is right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, listen, as Tracey said, we can't confirm the embedded tweet that's in this text message, but you see it on the screen. And this was a text message that was received by a friend of mine. Their name is not on the screen, but they did post it to Instagram. And this is the message that Cuomo is putting out there based upon this, we think is a tweet, could be from somewhere else, but it says, Cuomo unalived my husband and I'm voting for him. That's how bad things are in New York. And this was sent out with a text from the Cuomo campaign saying, we know what she means, and if she can do it, you can do it too. If you do, we will defeat Mamdani together. Are you kidding? This is ghoulish.
Ghoulish is the only word I think. I mean, ghoulish is the only word you can use to describe that they use that to fundraise. That's insanity.
Right. And let's be clear. I want to be clear so I don't get sued. Right. This is not from the campaign proper. This is from an organization it's paid for by Defend NYC. It's one of those PACs out there that I believe is supporting Cuomo. I'm going to look them up right now.
They are. It's I believe a man named Jason Meester, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Meister. Bill Ackman has donated quite a boatload of money. And Bill Ackman, of course, is a billionaire. He was a big Trump donor. And, he's one of these people that doesn't even live in New York. A lot of these people that are putting forth, and I hate to use the word psyop, but they are putting forth the psyop on the people of New York City. Most of them don't even live here. And if you're like a Bill Ackman or a Jason Meester, you got your house in Palm Beach, you got your house in Scarsdale. Like, you don't care if New York City falls apart. You only care because it's a business interest. That's the only reason why they're doing what they're doing here.
That's right. And I'm looking at Defend NYC's website. It is as sparse can be. They call themselves a bipartisan, let me show people so we can all see together. They call themselves a bipartisan organization. I don't believe it for a minute, but take a look. So this is their entire webpage, right? So Defend NYC, picture of the skyline. Defend NYC is a bipartisan group of New Yorkers united by a shared concern over the policies and record of Zohran Mamdani. While we may come from different political backgrounds, we are aligned in our belief that Mamdani's agenda poses real risks to the future of our city, and we are committed to working together to raise awareness and protect the interests of all New Yorkers. And blah, 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 yakety smackety. There's a contact us form at the bottom, and that's it. No other pages.
Right. No policies, no policy positions, no nothing. Just, we have to stop Mamdani, and we're going to stop it by propping up Cuomo, who caused the city and the state to fail to begin with, and all the problems that we have are because of him. So we're going to give him a second chance to correct all of his mistakes that he made the first time. Although I don't think the 15,000 senior citizens that are rotting in their graves right now got a second chance. I don't think Cuomo deserves one either.
I don't think so either, but that's the definition of AstroTurf right there. That sort of moneyed organization, scant on details, long on money. I mean, I can go through the campaign finance disclosures, but, we're not here to see that. We can go into the minutia of it all and really get wonky and figure out who they are and all that. Needless to say, they're the people sending out text messages to voters saying that if this person who says that Andrew Cuomo unalive their husband can vote for Cuomo, why can't you?
Who thought that was a good idea?
The same person that thought that AI ad with Mamdani, criminals from Mamdani, thought it was a good idea. So it's another thing that I can't stand is that there was an ad, for those of you who don't know, there was an ad in the race that was released on social media called Criminals from Mamdani that was all basically AI, and really bad AI at that. Depicting a pimp, an old white woman drunk driver.
She looked like Hillary Clinton, though. Did you notice that?
A little bit.
Yeah, the AI drunk driver lady looks suspiciously like Hillary Clinton.
I'm going to see if I can find the ad on X, because once again, not prepared. But the ad also made fun of Mamdani eating rice with his hands and had really, really strong racist overtones there. It was just everything wrong with politics. You know what? I think I found it here. Let me see if I can get this posted here. Okay, let me get to the beginning. Do this. Do a little magic. Sprinkle a little fairy dust on it, maybe.
I love fairy dust.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a George Santos joke. Don't do that.
Oh, can we talk about George? Oh,
we'll certainly talk about him later.
Oh, great.
But here is the ad. First of all, notice the two stanchions on the Brooklyn Bridge, one right next to each other, with the Empire State Building in the background on the wrong side of the bridge. I guess this is supposed to be the view from the Manhattan Bridge. I don't know, but it doesn't look like this. And then it goes right into a city street. The AI is so freaking bad. It's so bad.
Zohran Mamdani's opponents want you to believe he's an inexperienced radical whose policies will make New York City more dangerous. But what do his actual supporters think?
Mamdani isn't crazy.
He's just trying to even the playing field.
Give everyone a fair shot. Sure, he said multiple times we need to defund the police, but that was just a metaphor.
And yes, he did say crime is a social construct.
There's your Hillary Clinton, right?
That was also a metaphor.
His main backer, the Democratic Socialists' ideas are common sense, such as
Decriminalizing misdemeanors, like shoplifting.
third-degree assault.
Trespassing. Prostitution.
And drunk driving.
With plans to decriminalize all
All right,
drugs.
so I don't want to give this any more airtime than it merits. You guys get the idea. The campaign released this, then withdrew it, which, by the way, I'm going to give the campaign a little credit here. Savvy move, because it made it go viral, in my opinion. That was a big dump of shit on the internet in the right place, where dumps of shit live, and that would be X. And all the people that wanted to break news or show that they know what's going on, they all downloaded it and reposted it for them. They didn't even have to do anything.
Yeah, and there were people on our side, including Donald Trump Jr., that were reposting it. They felt it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, which is a little bit disturbing. You know, when Andrew Cuomo lost the primary, in one of the worst campaigns I've ever seen. Like, the man did not want to campaign. He feels like it's beneath him. I know this for a fact. I have this from people that have worked on his campaign. He absolutely hates it. He hates going out and meeting people and, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies and all of that. He hired some very, very young people to try to match Zohran Mamdani's like allure to the young. Now, as somebody who's seen both of these men personally in action, I don't like Mamdani's policies. I didn't find him particularly charismatic, but I can see through bullshit, you know, but I could see how young people would be swayed by him. So Cuomo's trying to match that zeal and wants to be part of the zeitgeist like Mamdani was. And he hired these young, idiotic guys. Now, I have run major campaigns for the GOP, right? Or I shouldn't say for the GOP campaigns. And I would never go out there and say, hey, I'm doing so-and-so social media. So when you think you're talking to a candidate, usually talking to somebody like me. Well, these guys were out there. One guy, listen, I don't dunk on high hair because I feel like the higher the hair, the closer to God you are. But I mean, this is a young guy with hair that's like up like this, piled up in a perm. He's wearing pearls and he's out there. He's all of 23 years old. And he's like, I'm running Andrew Cuomo's social media. He's probably the idiot that put that out. So Cuomo hired all of these dopey kids, and you could see it in his social media. And it changed right after the primary when he decided that he was going to run again. And it's sort of like there's that meme where there's like an older guy and he's dressed like a young guy. And he's like, how do you do, fellow kids? Yep. That's how social media comes across. So I'm not surprised that they put a racist ad like that out there. You know, like there's so much that I could pick apart on that ad that it just like, it almost just makes me want to go like this. Like, I cannot believe it.
Oh, there was so much cringe, especially after the primary loss. Do you remember the ad of Andrew Cuomo helping the guy with the broken down car, fixing the breakdown and getting under the hood of the car? I mean, we talked about it here on the show, and I was like, oh my God, this is the most tone deaf thing I've ever seen.
And he also doesn't know the names of certain streets in the city. Like, you'll catch these errors. And by the way, he called Staten Island Strong Island at one point. So the Long Islanders went nuts because, you know, we're from Long Island, we're Strong Island. You don't call Staten Island Strong Island. They would be embarrassed if you called it that.
Every New Yorker knows. Every New Yorker knows that Staten Island is Shaolin and that Long Island is Strong Island. But
Cuomo doesn't live in the city. So it makes perfect sense. He doesn't know like the names of certain streets, and the whole thing's a hot mess. A hot mess.
And just to round out the hot mess, I've been meaning to do this for a while here on the show, but now's as good of a time as any. Mm-hmm. Let's look at this cast of, I call them lying, two-faced mutts who were out there supporting Curtis Sliwa until they got the bat signal, or should I say the cat's symbol, up in the air. And we're told, oh, we're not doing that. We're switching horses mid-race, and now we're going with that accused sexual predator whose COVID policies killed 15,000 seniors. Look at these Look at this cavalcade of goons and wannabes that held a press conference on a corner that if you blinked, you wouldn't have known it. Pay special attention to the corner across the street. There are more people who are crossing the street than are at this press conference.
Important day, 8 days before what many are calling the biggest election of our lives. The mayoral election here in New York City coming up.
Okay, can just a side note before we continue on to the video. Can we stop calling every election the biggest election of our lives?
And
We called it that in 2020, 2022, 2024.
And not for nothing, Gene, can we stop saying the sky is going to fall with every election? Every election, the sky is going to fall. Like when people say, but what if we vote for Sliwa because that's where our heart is? And then Mamdani gets in there. We have a constitution. Now, we don't want Mamdani in there. He's going to be a hot mess. However, we have a constitution that he has to abide by. You don't think Trump's going to be on his tail every 3 seconds? Of course. So can we stop saying the sky is going to fall with every single election and that it's going to be the biggest election of our lifetimes? I've had it.
And by the way, for those of you who don't know who who's they in this picture here, you have Michael Rappaport, actor and basketball aficionado, big Knicks fan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the loudest anti-Trumpers out there.
Yes, he was.
Until things started happening, until basically October 7th. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden he became more responsive to the Trump agenda. You have former Assemblyman Dov Hikind from Brooklyn, who, by the way, I once represented as an attorney in an election law matter, trying to get him the Republican line because he thought that he should have it because he's more of a conservative Democrat. Mm-hmm. Then you have WABC's Sid Rosenberg, who was fired by Dom Imus for making fun of people with cancer. These are the people that are standing shoulder to shoulder now telling you that you got to stop supporting Curtis Sliwa and go and support Andrew Cuomo, who, again, I'm going to keep on saying it, is an accused sexual predator and whose COVID policies resulted in 15,000 seniors unnecessarily dying. But sure, let's hear them out.
Next Tuesday, we are really faced with a huge problem. A guy by the name of Mamdani who wants to destroy this city. Everything America stands for, everything New York City stands for, everything good New Yorkers and Jewish people stand for, this guy wants to destroy. His economic plans are ridiculous. He's going to tax everybody so much that the wealthy will end up leaving this city. It's going to destroy business and the economy here in New York. Obviously, he has no care for the Jewish people whatsoever.
I love all the traffic in the background just blotting them out. And Michael Rappaport reviewing his script. But they do bring up one thing that I do want to mention, then we got to do the mid-show grift here, is they are pushing very hard on Jewish voters. Mm-hmm. And I got to be honest, I would not fault a Jewish voter for putting their ethnicity and their religion before their party. Because let's face it, Republicans don't do much for people in New York City. There's not a lot of them for them to do it. And when it comes down to a matter of survival, I can understand a Jewish voter being fearful of Mamdani.
100%.
So I'm not going to go after any Jewish voter or anybody advocating, with the exception of that woman, Emily Austin, who wanted to create hot girls for Cuomo, you fucking moron.
And by the way, you should go on hotgirlsforcuomo.com. Emily should have bought the domain. Go on it. It's wonderful. Trust me.
I'm going there right now. Is this something I can show on screen?
Absolutely, you can, and I hope that you do. Go. So Emily Austin, when she comes up with the for Cuomo thing, didn't buy the domain. You dummy. Because I think that Mamdani's team did. Because this is too clever. Like, this is the work of somebody that's really like a young DSA person. Like, we don't think this way. This is great.
No, I get it, but this was a pretty slick move. So when you go to hotgirlsforcuomo.com, you get the PDF of the investigation into sexual harassment by Governor Andrew Cuomo, where it's concluded that he sexually harassed, I believe, 13 different people in the administration. This came out in August 2021. Factual findings. They have different women's names. I've been in touch with Lindsay Boylan before. Shout out to Lindsay, who is not on the same political side as I am, but on this Andrew Cuomo issue, we are definitely walking in lockstep together. But yeah, there's 11 different complainants right there that were investigated. Whoever did that, it's a slick move. I appreciate that. So,
and by the way, Cuomo likes to lie and say that he got exonerated from all of those investigations. That's not true. The one with the state trooper is still like out there and going forth. And there are still nursing home cases that are alive and active. I know that Cuomo's goons were putting out that all of our cases got dismissed. These were not rebukes of Cuomo. They got dismissed because Cuomo added a provision in the budget in 2021 absolving nursing homes of blame and shielding himself as well. So there are still active cases on both sides, sexual harassment and nursing homes. So he's lying about that.
Right. I believe there was also an executive order that made nursing homes and members of government immune from prosecution as well.
Yes, there was.
That's how it started. I think that's how it started. All right, so listen, we're at halftime here. We're a little past halftime, but I get to do the halftime grift here. I'm going back to shop.buffoonertheweek.com because if you can't plug yourself, who's going to plug you? And I do want to say that, yes, we have the Cuomo for Prison t-shirt out there as well. But one of the hotter sellers that, we got some orders in this week on is an oldie but a goodie. It's our People's Republic of New York City shirt. It's available in different sizes and different colors, as you see on the screen right now. I believe this one is a little
communist red. Perfect.
That's actually the one I got for myself.
I love communist red.
Yes, and we are capitalists. It's for $24.99. You can get it in communist red, or you can get it in Democrat blue, or if you want to stick to black or white or gray. It's up to you. We got a purple one up there for you if you want it. You see, we're sold out on a couple of different types of sizes, so it's a little more limited, but check it out. I recommend the Commie Red one. And shop.buffoonertheweek.com. Again, the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you'll get links to all of our content, all of our social media, and to the store as well. So thanks for tuning in for the show. I'm Gene. That's Tracy filling in for Ross. And going to ask you guys to also like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel wherever you're watching, whether it be on YouTube, on Rumble, or on X. Just, let us know that you're around. Drop into the chat a little bit. Chat's been a little quiet because when you got two Italians from New York yakking it up, there's really no room for anybody else to get a word in edgewise. So that's kind of how the show is going to roll today, and I'm okay with it. Let's pay a little lip service, Tracy, to the other two major races going on across the country. I'm talking about the race in New Jersey for governor between Mickey Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli, and the race in Virginia between Abigail Spanberger and Winsome Sears. I'm going to start with what I think is a little bit of a surprise here, and that is the polling in New Jersey has tightened up quite a bit. I'm going to pull up some real clear polling analysis here. And I was shocked when I saw this, Tracy. And given that you are a bit of a campaign guru here, maybe you can tell me why this is so close right now. Now, the RCP average is Sherrill plus 3.7. But if you look at the last three polls, really, because I'm not going to look at the Rutgers poll from the beginning of October or the Fairleigh Dickinson poll from the beginning as well, or even that Fox News poll. Trafalgar, +1. They're usually pretty good. Coefficient, never heard of them. It's Sherrill +1. And Qantas Insights, which is the most recent one, +3. So when you take those polls, we're looking at a race that's in the margin of error.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out, is it a dislike for Sherrill that is really pushing this out there? Or is Ciattarelli really that popular in New Jersey? My observations have been that Sherrill has really shot herself in the foot quite a bit on the campaign trail.
I agree with you. I think it's more of a dislike of Sherrill. And I think it's also name recognition for Ciattarelli because people will tell me all the time, and I get in this debate about Curtis Lewa, right? Oh, Curtis Lewa lost. He lost last time. I mean, Abraham Lincoln lost 7 or 8 races before he became the president. Sometimes you run just to get your name out there. You don't expect to win. If you expect to win, great. You're going to do the work to win. But you want to get your name out there. You want to get your agenda out there. You want to put your opponent on record, and you want to put the opposite party on record. So sometimes that's why you run. So people are familiar with him, and they have a like of him. He is a likable guy. Plus, we're coming off of a president that I would say he is quite popular right now with the blanks, or the, people call them the independents, that I believe really drive the elections and really win the elections. People like what they're seeing. They like the grocery prices are going down. They like that gas is more affordable. They like that illegal immigrant, people who have committed crimes. They like that he's getting them out of the country. So they like where the country's heading. But Mickey Sherrill she is contemptible. She really is. I don't know how she ever won a race, because she's unintelligent when she speaks. She doesn't know what the heck she's talking about. She doesn't have good policy positions. And I think she's tied to the past. And she's got some scandals, of course, with, being part of the Naval Academy and her cheating scandal. And, when you come out of the Naval Academy, that's supposed to be very, very prideful. No one wants to see, cheating, and nobody wants to see nepotism, that she got her children in there as well, and things that I just think I think it's more of a hate of her. But Jack Ciattarelli did put in the work for the last few years as well, and he's recognizable.
And I also think that he had a great wedge issue with energy prices, and the fact that he was able to take that Mickey Sherrill statement from Sirius XM about saying that, yeah, your electric bills are going to triple if you switch over. They switch over to solar and they don't invest more in different energies. But if you're a good person, you'll just do it, and that set people off. I think initially left a bad taste in their mouth with Sherrill. Then there was the interview on The Breakfast Club where Charlemagne confronted Sherrill with another talking point from the Ciattarelli campaign about her stock earnings being in the millions of dollars. And she tried to feign ignorance, called it, a hit by Newsmax, but yet she couldn't confirm that she made millions of dollars. Like, you don't know that you made millions of dollars. And then that was followed up by, like you said, about the scandal with the committee that she would create. Well, basically everybody in Congress creates this for the different military academies. I was actually on one of those committees once where you interview different candidates who want to be admitted into the various military academies. And you get so many stories from really, really worthy, qualified, eligible young people who want to serve our country. And yet Sherrill did some finagling to get her children into those academies under her ex-husband's name or something like that.
Yeah.
And that particularly left a bad taste in my mouth, because I've gone through those resumes and applications before. I've seen the merit of people who worked really hard and then don't get the nod for that. And yet her children just happen to both be so qualified for the Naval Academy, the academy that she herself cheated in and broke the honor code with. Really?
And I'll tell you, I went to Annapolis this past summer because my boyfriend's son is really hoping to become a midshipman. And they told us there are 15,000 young, wonderful, bright kids that apply every year, and only about 1,000 get in. So what are the odds that her children were that brilliant? I mean, again, Nepo baby culture we live in. It just does not bode well when you're running a race and things like that get brought up, because who knows? You know, and we've all had that where we've gotten disappointment or overlooked because somebody knew someone or somebody's mom or dad was someone. We've all had those experiences. People don't like that, especially not New Jerseyans. And we're pretty close to New Jersey, you know?
Yeah, no, and of course the biggest controversy in Jersey politics right now is Mickey Sherrill saying that she doesn't like Taylor hams or pork rolls or whatever it was. Jersey, you guys can keep that all to yourself. I don't need to know about it.
It's like,
I don't want to know about it.
Yeah, it's like when they asked him what his favorite breakfast order was, and he's like, an English muffin with an egg white. No, the answer is bacon, egg, and cheese. Even you lie about everything. You couldn't lie about that too. I mean, come on, you're disqualified.
You know what? The alternative answer is also sausage, egg, and cheese on a bagel.
That will be accepted. I'll allow it.
That's accepted as well. But you know, just Jesus, geez Louise. Let's talk about the other race going on that's of importance, and that is the race, the off-season race in Virginia, which to me, historically, when you look at Virginia, the governor's race there, it's always going to be two people. There's no incumbency, really. I think only the governors there only serve for one term. So this is always what I like to call the backlash election. This is the election of the people who are really angry about what happened in the presidential election, now showing up at the polls a year too late to express their disdain for what happened in that race. Mm-hmm. As we take a look at this polling between Abigail Spanberger and Winsome Earl Sears, the Republican in that race, we're seeing that the margins are pretty much remaining the same. There are some outliers out there. I see Spanberger plus 12, and then I see a Spanberger plus 3. But they all seem to be sitting into this 7 to 9 point range. Mm-hmm. And while Winsome Earl Sears had a pretty good debate performance, especially coming off of the heels of the Jay Jones text messaging scandal that everyone tried to pin on Spanberger, it seems like Spanberger has weathered that storm, at least if you believe the polls and what they say.
Yeah, only Republicans get held accountable for what they say, like the young Republicans and their contemptible, immature group chat in New York, right? But in this race, it is interesting. So, you know, Virginia is always a weird state when it comes to elections because it is dominated by the government employees that live there. Right now, we're in a government shutdown that is not very popular. And we know, you and I can, you know, talk about how this is because the Democrats want to give illegals health care and they're doing everything they can to obstruct Trump. I almost feel like they're keeping this going so that the government workers who have been furloughed in Virginia are going to go with the Democrat, because Winsome Sears is one of my favorite political figures. As a woman, she's somebody I aspire to be and look up to. She is the American dream, being an immigrant herself and reaching such high achievements. I feel like this is a referendum on Trump. I feel like that in the worst way possible, because a lot of these government employees are hardcore liberals, hardcore Democrats. You add the shutdown on top of it. I don't think it looks good for the Republicans in Virginia this year.
Right. Not at least not for the governor's race, but possibly for the attorney general race, where we talked about that Jane.
How anybody could pull a lever for a man that fantasized about killing children. It's I mean, although look, the bar has been set really low. We have a man running in the New York City mayoral election that killed 15,000 seniors and sexually harassed 13 women. So the bar is really low for the Democrats. We're only accountable if we're Republican.
You know, it's crazy. I'm looking at this race, and it's good. Miyares, the Republican, is up by 3 in the average. I'm shocked it's that close. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the goddamn Washington Post poll had it tied. That should tell you that Miyares probably has a commanding lead here. But my goodness, to me, it's just I don't get what people are thinking when they go vote, except that they're voting for the laundry and they're not voting for the person.
Right. When people split their ticket, I'll never understand that, because that's how you create gridlock in your government and nothing gets done. Like when I vote, even though now I'm technically unaffiliated, I'm a Republican conservative, and I'm going to vote my B row here locally down the line, like, because I want my government to work for me. I don't want the gridlock. So I don't, for the life of me, when people go, oh, checks and balances, No, okay, you just voted for gridlock. I get it. It's nice in theory and in principle, and maybe once upon a time it worked. It doesn't work anymore in this modern polarized age.
Well, since you brought up gridlock, let's spend the last few minutes here on the show talking about the government shutdown. And it seems as though that the longer the shutdown keeps going, the better it is for Republicans. At least that's what CNN of all places is saying.
You might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Tracy, what's your snap reaction to seeing that, first of all?
First of all, I'm amazed because I've been so taken with the New York City mayoral election that I haven't had very little time to look at anything else. But my first snap reaction is one of the areas where I've criticized Republicans for decades is in their messaging. This year, with the new Trump presidency, they have gotten their act together. I mean, they are putting out and hitting on all fronts and all ages, and they're putting out engaging, entertaining content that's informative and in various ways. They're hitting our age group. They're hitting the younger kids with the memes. I think the messaging of the Republicans is one of the reasons why the Republicans seem to be gaining in popularity through the shutdown. A lot of people seem to have the belief that our government is bloated. And now, we're going along and we're not really seeing many effects of that. As this lingers, will these numbers continue to increase? I don't know. But when the Democrats are not fighting for Americans, and that's why they're keeping the government closed, and the Trump administration has been very good at putting that messaging out, I could see why the popularity would increase.
The news gets better as this clip continues on.
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, changing the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
And
Republicans like balls. They like politicians who hold the line and show balls. That's what I think that CNN is missing out on here, is that we've had decades of wishy-washy, mealy-mouthed leaders in Congress, the Paul Ryans and the John Boehners and the Kevin McCarthys of the world. And now you have a president who has emboldened the majority in Congress. And this is what happens when you show balls, Tracy, right?
I was going to say I love balls, but I'm not going to say that because somebody's going to flip it and that, No, but it's true. We've had a bunch of spineless jellyfish in the GOP that always give in. And I do believe that independents win elections. And, they went heavily for Trump. They're loving Trump dominating on the world stage and the home stage. And again, the Democrats are advocating for people who aren't American. And we're in an era where it's cool to be America first now. It's cool to put America first again, finally.
And it's also putting the Democrats in a bad position. As we'll see, there's going to be a break in the ranks coming soon. I'm going to predict that. But looking forward to 2026, there's even better news coming out of these numbers. And I definitely want your reaction to the end of this video.
Democrats, of course, they have their eyes on the midterm elections. Yeah, we have elections 1 week from today, but what Democrats in Congress are mostly focused on are 1 year and 1 week from today from the midterm. So how how are they positioned right now?
Yeah, so, I mean, look, the generic congressional ballot, which traditionally Democrats have done really well on, and if you look at this point.
Look at Tracey's face.
This is like, wait, historically, this never never happened.
Right.
The party in power loses seat. They hemorrhage. This is unheard of. Like, for the first time that I can remember, at least in modern history, the Republicans are in a position where not only will they not hemorrhage, but it's very possible 0.3. If the Democrats are only at 0.3, it's possible that we can actually gain strength. That's
especially if there's going to be this redistricting that we think is going to happen after the Supreme Court case. But let's let him explain the numbers here. This is an 8-point downswing during a government shutdown that the Democrats are perpetuating. So listen to this.
Back when Trump was president the first time around, Democrats were up 11 points. Look at where it is now. Democrats are ahead, but they're actually only up 3 points. This is, in fact, the worst position Democrats have been on in a generic ballot at this point in midterm when there was a Republican president in the last 20 years. And this is no different from pre-shutdown. So Republicans aren't losing on this metric either. They become more popular, and they're actually in a pretty good position for them historically when it comes to the generic congressional.
The fact that they are not being helped by the shutdown and that Republicans are being helped by the shutdown, plus the news that the largest federal employees union are calling on Democrats to pass the clean CR that they voted down 13 times in a row is really adding pressure to the Democrats. And I just want to give one more example of pressure here, because this is absolutely crazy in my opinion. This is an interview on CNBC with Senator Welch. Listen to this grilling. Now, this, granted, it's from the Republican on CNBC, the one that's more capitalist and more, his name is Carpin, I believe his last name is. But questions like this have got to be really wrangling Democrats.
You're almost conceding that you should not be shutting down the government, that the Democrats should not be doing that. And I don't think you'd ever say that extortion is the way that Republicans should get their way if they don't like the IRA or they don't like overspending or whatever it is at any given point in time where the other party has a disagreement. This is not the way to do it. As far as Obamacare, you probably realize a lot of these premium increases are just built into Obamacare. The expiration of the pandemic subsidies is only a very small part of the increases.
Now, let's be clear for our listening audience. The expiration of Obamacare premium savings, or whatever you want to call it, happens at the end of the year. It's not happening now. It's not the base. It's what the Democrats are making the basis of the shutdown for. So what this CNBC analyst is saying is that even if you restore those savings, Obamacare is still broken because it's only a small amount of the overall increase that people are going to see after the subsidies and the Obamacare savings package, whatever you want to call it, expires. Welch is going to acknowledge that in this clip and basically is starting to crack as to whether or not this whole shutdown thing is such a good idea.
So that discussion has to be had about fixes to Obamacare so it doesn't keep spiraling, the costs don't keep spiraling. But you're not going to do that before we reopen the government. It's not going to happen. It's going to have to happen afterwards. Are you ready to vote with the Republicans to reopen the government at this point as a reasonable Democrat? Maybe others would follow you.
I'm not there yet because we have had literally, Joe, no discussion whatsoever about how we're going to deal with these spikes.
This is the right way to do it,
premiums.
Senator? By people not getting paychecks at the TSA? This is extortion. You think this is the right way to do it? In your conscience, you think it's the right way to do it? I never thought I'd say that, Andrew, that as a human being, he always says that. As a human being, you think this is the right thing to do? That's your line.
Well, that's why Senator Hawley and have our bill to make sure that folks get the nutrition that they absolutely need is why the president is paying the troops. But there is something that we've all got to acknowledge here, okay? The administration has had an attack on health care, as we know it. The Medicaid cuts were immense. They're going to have real impacts on individuals, and they're going to have impacts on state budgets and community hospitals. The loss of the premium tax credits is going to mean that folks are going to drop health care. I mentioned in Vermont, it goes from like $900 for some folks a month to $3,200 a month. That's totally
Senator,
unsustainable.
from $900 to $3,200 a month is not because of the tax subsidies alone. The Journal points out that the tax subsidies, these extended tax cut subsidies, are only responsible for about the expiration of those are only responsible for about 3% of the increase.
Peter Welsh is getting fact-checked on CNBC about the numbers for Obamacare.
Not
when do you see
surprised.
that?
Yeah, not I mean, Gene, this is all of this. Like the last 5 minutes of the show has been so unprecedented. I'm absolutely shocked and stunned. Like I said, I've been in my Cuomo bubble, New York City mayoral election bubble. This is absolutely, I'm awestruck. Really am. Completely shocked.
Yeah, I have been too. Now, what happened today is that because there is now pressure coming not only from federal unions to get the clean CR passed, which is restoring basically Biden-era levels of spending for a certain amount of time, but also you have the federal unions there. You have the pressure now on debunking the Obamacare myth, and now also you're getting a lot of pressure from Democrat rank-and-file Democrat voters because next month's SNAP benefits won't be covered. So the Democrats in the Senate try to put forth a bill just to restore SNAP benefits and to keep the government closed otherwise in order to save themselves from the wrath of their own constituency. And John Thune, of all people, I'm sorry, sir, I did not recognize your game. He actually showed a little bit of a theme here, showed some balls and objected to the putting this bill on the floor. And he did so in a pretty fiery way.
Let me just point out, if I might, that we are 29 days into a Democrat shutdown. And the senator from New Mexico was absolutely right. SNAP recipients shouldn't go without food. People should be getting paid in this country. And we've tried to do that 13 times. And you voted no 13 times. This isn't a political game. These are real people's lives that we're talking about. And you all have just figured out, 29 days in, that, there might be some consequences. There are people who run out of money. Yeah, we're 29 days in. And they've done their best to make sure that a lot of these programs are funded. But at some point, the government runs out of money. 13 times, people over here voted to fund SNAP. 13 times they voted to fund WIC. My aching back.
From carrying those
Dems.
Dems.
This thing has consequences. Well, you know what? What Democrats are doing here, they're making plans to keep the shutdown going.
But are they? I think there's a breaking point coming here with some moderate Democrats. They're going to say we're done.
And I'll tell you, you know who I like that I never thought I would say this in a million years. You want to guess which Senate Democrat? I am enamored with him, actually, because he's reasonable.
It's Fetterman.
I never, in a million years, when that guy got elected, I never thought he was going to be the voice of reason for the Senate Democrats. And I feel like people are going to start to follow his lead. He's the one that's going to break. And I feel like the other Democrats are going to fall in line. And my heart goes out to, now we got the air traffic controllers who aren't getting paid, and the TSA agents have been working a month without getting paid. And now the SNAP benefits people are not going to get them. Something's going to give, and I think it's going to be Fetterman. And I think other Democrats are going to follow.
Well, Fetterman has crossed the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they are looking for 5 other Democrats to kind of cross the line and come across the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one report I saw that Thune is now using back channels to go directly to Democrat senators that they think are ready to cross that line, and trying to avoid talking to Schumer, who is basically running on vendetta, to bring it back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show here. So...
Yeah. He's afraid he's going to get primaried and out of a job soon. So
he's already going to get primaried. I think it's a fait accompli here. But whether he is or not, he's 80 years old and he can be put out the pasture and whatever. And then New York can continue to lurch further to the fringe.
Isn't John Thune refreshing compared to Mitch? Can you imagine Mitch McConnell in that situation?
I mean, that moment was refreshing. I'm not willing to go and
all the way. I get it. Because Thune's got his little rhino-y moments too, but that was really great to see.
So I will say I respect the game in that moment. That's what I will say.
I like that.
All right. So it's time for final thoughts here on the show. This is the part of the show where basically you can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. Of course, thank you so much for coming and doing this on a school night of all things too as well, to come and hang out with me after Ross left me high and dry. And I want to give you the floor. Obviously, we're going to plug Voice for Seniors as we always do, but any topic or interest or concern that you want to just give as your final thought here, the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm going to talk about something you're not going to think I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about George Santos.
Fuck.
Listen, guys, people on the right, listen to me. This man is no conservative icon, and he's not a conservative hero. I ran his campaign until July of that year. And I dipped out of the campaign when I realized he was full of baloney. Now, I didn't realize how full of baloney he was. But this man, we now have one of the worst and most egregious crimes this man committed was stealing from a disabled veteran. He stole money from this man that was meant to be used for his service dog. And unfortunately, because George stole the money, that service dog died. To me, that's not a conservative icon that we need. Listen, George was a reliable conservative vote. Yep. But he was full of shit. He's not. Don't put him on a pedestal. And Trump should never have pardoned him. Yes, he didn't deserve 7 years. I agree with that. But he should have done a little bit more time than that. This man is not a conservative icon. Please stop making idiots your heroes. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
So my final thank you for that, because I'm going to clip this and I'm going to send this to Ross, who loves to needle me about George Santos and my opposition to him.
Listen, George is a lovable guy. I know, because I was pretty close to George, but he's a scumbag. I mean, let's face it. Guy was a thief. He didn't go to prison for lying.
I am clipping this. I'm sending it to him over and over again this week. So my final thought real quick is about some criminal news that broke out of Illinois, out of Chicago, and that is this congressional candidate named Kat Abu-Ghasaleh. She was trying to become, I guess, famous and bolster her campaign by protesting outside of ICE facilities. And you may remember a video of her being dragged away and thrown on her ass by some ICE agents outside the facility. There's video of her blocking a vehicle as well. Well, she is now in the finding out period of her fucking around, because an indictment was just unsealed, charging her and others with conspiracy and other charges relating to those activities. And while I don't think that a jury in Illinois is going to exactly convict her of anything, the fact that she's now got to spend money and time dealing with these charges during a campaign that she's going to be running, chef's kiss. Absolutely love it. You know what? During the 2024 election cycle, the punishment for Donald Trump was the process. And now Kat Abu-Ghasaleh is going to realize how much of a punishment that is. And that's my final thought. Tracey, plug Voices for Seniors, all the work that you do with them, and let's give them some much needed recognition here.
Okay, guys, listen, Christmas time is coming up, and what we do at Voices for Seniors in order to honor our parents that we lost to COVID in nursing homes during the pandemic is we find nursing home residents that have no families that are very in need of the basics: soap, other toiletries, clothing, slippers, socks, and we make gift bags up and we bring them into nursing homes. You can donate. We have an Amazon wish list. We put out lots of pictures so you can see where your donations are going. But if you go on voicesforseniors.com, you could help us out and give some love to the elderly. We all think of like the young kids and their toys and Toys for Tots, and that's important. But our elderly, they need some love too. So help us bring some love this holiday season to a nursing home resident that really needs it.
Absolutely. And I'm putting up on the screen right now, Operation Christmas Senior. And on the website, there are ways that you can contribute items that seniors would love this year, like sweatshirts and sweaters and toiletries and shampoo and, different sleepwear, blankets, of course.
I have to tell you, it's been life-changing. We had a man, for example, he only had one outfit. And we gifted him with several, and the man wouldn't come out of his room because he was embarrassed. And now he's the talk of the nursing home because he's got a wardrobe. So he goes out and he shows his clothes off, and he's social and he's engaged, and it's like he came to life. Believe it or not, you're just an $8 donation for a T-shirt, or maybe get the People's Republic of New York T-shirt and send it to us, and we'll gift it. That really can make a difference in a senior's life.
Oh, I'm getting involved this year for sure.
Oh, we love it.
There's no doubt
We'd love
about
to
that.
have you. And listen, we put all the gifts together. I always make food and bring it, so you'd be eating really well with us. So.
All right. Well, just drag me in, man. All right. So, folks, you can check out voicesforseniors.com and check out Operation Christmas Senior. Definitely go to the website, look at all the initiatives they have there. Tracey, you're the best.
You are. Who knew that a little CPAC meeting in 2017 would result in a lifelong friendship, Gene? Like
it all goes back to CPAC. Some of the best friendships and relationships I've made were from there, including you, my dear. All right, so listen, I hang out for after the show. I do want to talk to you, but it is time to shut this sucker down. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to the chat room. Thank you to, of course, Tracey, and all of you out there. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you decided to hang out with us, and I really appreciate that. So I'm going to say good night, and as always, I'm going to do this in a nicer way. I'm not going to curse this time, but I am going to say let's play our mother effing anthem as we leave the show here tonight. Thanks so much, everybody, from the People's Republic of New York. Good night, and we'll see you next week.
Not allowed, not without electoral.
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear?
Don't let them have sway. Conservative battalions walking them out, marching through the streets while the buffoons all shout. Move in the shadows, flag on my chest, repping my clan, putting faith to the test. Cause left plays lose behind enemy lines, fighting for the truth, feels like wartime. Don't back down, keep it rugged and raw, cool in the chaos, but loud in the war. But loud in the war. Thunder, arm in advance, march to the anthem, this is our chance. If I ever stand with a smirk in a gaze, holding down the fort in this Democrat cage. Whistles in the dark, strategies unfold, allies on speed, but bonds remain bold. Commitment to the cause in the heart of the storms, in the name of freedom we're breaking the norm. Cause let's stay blue behind enemy lines, fighting for the truth, feels like wartime. Don't back down, keep it rugged and raw. fall. Eyes unseen, but bonds remain